All right, so I was asked to put binding on this Mandolin fingerboard. So my approach to doing that is have a bunch of these spring clamps. I have my acetone glue, consists acetone with small chips of this binding material dissolved. And then I put down wax paper and just tape down each end. It's just a orderly work surface. And then I'll keep this piece of MDF nice and clean, things won't stick to it. And then I just double check, make sure I have each piece how it needs to be for each side, which I do. I've gone ahead and made sure that the edges are square. You don't want to glue it on and have it be like this kind of slant. So everything's squared up. And pieces lined up. And then I'm going to use a little brush. I'll dip it into here. And I'm just going to brush it on like that. I'm just going to do one side at a time. And then I'm going to just put these clamps on. When you use these clamps, make sure that the tips of the clamps don't cause anything to be misaligned between the binding and the fingerboard material. Sometimes the tips of the clamp can kind of shim either the binding up or the fingerboard up. And I'm just trying to move all these down. I got a few more. And I'll show you a neat thing at the end, what I do to make sure that everything is lined up. And to get all the glue. All right, so now that it's got a lot of clamps, I'll flip it upside down and I'll double check, make sure things haven't shifted. And it's okay if they shift a little bit because this fingerboard is gonna be, have a radius to it. So, but that looks good. So I'm gonna dip it into the glue here some more. And I'm gonna brush the underside. And some of it's viscous enough where it's gonna seep down in between the binding and the fingerboard. Dang, it smells so bad though, the acetone and the... I would categorize it as not an enjoyable smell. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry for a couple hours, but that's basically the process I use. Once it's dry, I'll double check it, and then I'll do the other side and do it the same, and then same for the end piece where the curve is. I'm gonna bend that with the blow dryer like I've done before, and then attach it in the same way. One reason I would not use tape is because the tape with the acetone, it's just going to get melted and gooey and congeal all over this, the fingerboard and the binding. So this way it keeps it nice and clean, things separated, minimal mess, minimal cleanup once it's dry.